What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Warriors Ways podcast here with Jeff Mugongo. Guys, Warriors Ways is about warriors, individuals who demonstrated resilience and triumph to overcome challenges and adversity. So, Warriors Ways is about just powerful people who've found a way through any challenges. Tune in on Warriors Ways, guys. And
Now, you might be wondering why I'm in a car, right? I'm headed to the hospital for my checkup appointment. Now, checkup for what? If you've been following my story, I was in a motorcycle accident on June 7th, 2023.
heart turned right into my leg. It went boom, literally twisted, and it's in my hands.
That's Jeff Mugongo. The East Valley trainer was riding his motorcycle through the intersection of Germain Road and Higley and Gilbert last June when a car slammed into him, throwing him onto the sidewalk.
I didn't know what was happening. Just that moment comes right in.
His injuries were severe. Fractures and breaks. He was even missing part of a leg bone. Dr. Karim worked on Jeff at Chandler Regional Medical Center. He drew this picture to show us how brutal Jeff's injuries were.
You can see here that he had this segmental bone loss here.
Chandler Regional says injuries from crashes are the most common reason people go to their trauma center.
Unfortunately, we do see this commonly. And I would say, when the weather's nice, almost every week, multiple times a week, we're seeing people coming in with these types of injuries.
Since last summer, Jeff has worked on rehab. A type of concrete was put into his leg to get him back on his feet. Now he's animated about life, but he says his helmet and some luck saved him.
That motorcycle accident was terrible, and I shot on my left leg and fractured my right tibia. And they performed an emergency surgery where they need to put in like a temporary rod. I hanged on with that rod for a year. And after a year, I walked and worked hard to get back on my feet. But the doctor told me, "Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry to tell you, but I might need to start again. We might need to redo this procedure, but this time it's gonna be better." They told me, "Jeff, we're giving you you won't be on you will not put weight on that leg for 4 months, and you probably won't be back on your feet for about 7 months, and in 2 years it'll be like nothing ever happened." Now, I just explained to you the time limit, the timeline. Now, you know how active I am. A man like me requires a lot of patience, and that's the patience is the biggest battle that I face. But as I stay closer to the Lord, He always just there. He gives me patience. As I focus on Him, He gives me peace. As I focus on Him, He takes away all the pain that I feel on my leg. I'm so grateful. So we headed to the doctor's office right now. And hey, let's get there. But before we get there, I just want to let you know, like the man I was very fit before all this happened about a year and a half ago. I was in the best shape of my life. Hey, life happens. There's always a path that God has for you, and when you are chosen, the path that you already planned in your mind might not be the path that God has for you. It might be better. The path that God has for you is better than what you envision. So stay patient, Follow God's footsteps. Allow God to lead you because that's the consistent fight we need to fight every day. That's the consistent fight I fight every day. Through pain, through suffering, through tears and blood, you always have to find a way to step forward. And sometimes you just have to be patient when it comes to health. Excuse all the blood on the pillow, but that's how the leg looks like now with the new procedure they have. So, guys, we at the doctor's right now, and you might be wondering, Jeff, why are you talking to us while you at the doctor's office right now? Sometimes that's tough, right? But it's a documentation of how a warrior can find a way when there seems to be no way. Okay? So there's blood right now. Baby, go through just here. Don't show them the blood. Oh, so I want to introduce you guys to the man who still has faith and still finds a way to get me to running again and to jump again. It's a long journey, but I want to introduce you guys to Dr. Karim, who who's been helping me for a year and a half. Brother? Yeah, you can hold that.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, welcome
It's
to
good to,
Warriors Ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure taking care of Jeff, and uh, obviously very difficult injury, very severe injury to the leg. But we're doing what we need to get things back.
Absolutely. So, um, just a rundown of like what you did this time around because we performed you performed a surgery that helped me get on my feet for a year, right? And you're like, Jeff, man, we have to prevent certain things from happening, so we have to perform another surgery. As a person, as a patient, I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? Just run down like this surgery that you did, like what you had to do to the bone that I had left, and what we're going to be doing. And I want you guys to see the X-rays as well. Even though it's kind of hard to watch, but hey, it's the journey that we're on.
Yeah, so this is a very complicated problem that we have here. So, unfortunately, with the initial motorcycle accident, there was a large area of bone loss in the tibia. So, the first surgery that we did was we put a titanium rod inside the leg, and then we took some bone graft from Jeff's femur, and we placed that within that defect there. Um, Usually that has about 70 to 80% success rate, but I think this defect was so large, and unfortunately that bone graft didn't take. So now we have to do another surgery to try and regrow this bone, essentially, that's in the leg, to make it one continuous bone. um, and that's a little bit complicated. Basically, it's something called bone transport. So we took that old rod that he had in there out, and then there's a segment right here where we have to regrow the bone, and this bone up here, this part of the bone is still intact. So we basically put a plate from his ankle up to the knee, essentially, and then we put a new rod that goes from the knee to basically where the bone ends here, and that rod is actually cutting edge technology, basically, because that rod has a magnetic motor in it that will distract the rod. So what we do is we put that rod in, we actually cut the bone up here, and then as that rod lengthens, it'll bring this bone here down to the ankle to basically make up this defect that he has here. And where we cut the bone here, he'll grow new bone. So it's a complicated procedure, kind of a complicated way of explaining it, but it's a very reliable way of limb salvage and making up that bony defect.
Wow. As you can see, my it's hard for me to even comprehend that knowledge of regrowing a bone after a motorcycle accident. It's truly, if you know, in the Bible says, hey, God gives a man a vision, and you have to take that vision and have faith in it. So as I trust in Dr. Karim's vision and what God has shown him, I have to have faith and find a way and be patient in the Lord, because even my mind cannot comprehend what what he just explained, right? But I have to follow his direction. I have to I have to truly just, you know, go on this journey that I found myself in. But as he was explaining, I want him to show you guys.
So these are the old X-rays. That Jeff had. So basically, this area here is that area of just bone loss. That bone was basically just on the road after the motorcycle accident. So we placed this rod down the tibia here, and then we placed some bone graft around there. Unfortunately, that bone graft didn't take. So Jeff was just kind of walking around on this rod basically and supporting his weight and working out and doing all sorts of crazy things. But you can't just walk on that rod, for the rest of your life. So we have to make sure that Jeff's, um, own bone is able to regrow and is able to be reconstituted. So in order to do that, we have to do this bone transport technique. So basically, what we did was we removed this rod that you see here, um, and so these are the new x-rays here. So you can see we put this plate there. There's still that space there where there's no bone essentially, and we put this new telescoping rod here, and you can see right here that there's a little break in the bone there. That's the break that we made there, and then this rod is going to lengthen, and we're going to distract through that break, and then we're going to bring this bone down, 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 eventually to meet this bone here. So then that bone will heal to this bone here, and then the new bone that forms there is going to eventually ossify over time. Wow.
As you can see, in your eyes, it seems like it's impossible. But hey, nothing is impossible through Christ. That's how I believe. That's what I believe, and I've been believing this journey. Other people would have gone through amputation, right, Dr. Karim?
Yeah, absolutely. This injury is very, very high risk for amputation. There's always that option too, and it's not necessarily a bad option, but it always is that option. But I think in a young active individual, we want to do everything we can to salvage this limb, and regrow your bone.
That's right. You heard that. Regrow the bone. It's You have to take a step. If it'll give you a little bit of pain, but a warrior finds a way to channel his strength and God's strength for him to see this thing through. My leg could have gone a long time ago, but hey, the doctor gave me hope by saying, Jeff, there's a way. And I'm going to stick to that way. All right. Thank you.